Dean Emert has been the best friend of history education on this campus and of exposing students who, remember, you cannot major in honors, you can graduate with honors, but they represent all majors on campus. And there's a core curriculum that every Ball State student has to undertake in order to get a bachelor's degree here. The core curriculum courses that honor students have are in small courses. They're taught by faculty members that have great experience, depth of knowledge, and most of all, passion to be able to put that across. And during the time that John was Associate Dean of the Honors College, was around when I got involved, was asked to teach in the Honors College. And although I retired from Ball State on August 1st, technically speaking, I'm off the payroll, the most rewarding time that I had in my 23 years on campus unambiguously came through those small discussion-oriented classes that the Honors College allowed me to teach and that John was always a champion for offering. So several years ago, when immersive learning was still being well established across the campus, the Honors College discovered that along with the University College, I guess it's called, were the only two colleges on campus that weren't currently offering immersive learning. And so I brought an idea to him that we could create an oral history workshop course that would be available to all majors, but especially students that were keen on getting some experience in not just studying history, but being actively engaged in creating new primary sources on the past by eliciting from the memories of the eyewitnesses to and the participants in that history their narratives, which were recorded and transcribed and keyword searchable and now streamed forever from the digital media repository, as we've been doing in the history department for over a decade. Beginning under Kevin Smith, now Associate Dean of the College of Science and Humanities, who bestowed on the History Department an oral history workshop studio that has become the center for oral history education on campus. And Dean Emert quickly seized on this opportunity to create an interdisciplinary, immersive learning course around the past. And one of the first projects that we did through that was the African American Alumni Oral History Project. We looked at the only scholarly history of Ball State in print, which my colleagues Bruce Galehood and Tony Edmonds published almost 20 years ago, and found only 2 indexed references to African American students in the university's at that point 80-year past. And we knew through our research that African Americans had been part of the first classes in the Ball State Teachers College, its forerunner 100 years ago, but there weren't really collections built around their experience, and so they became invisible to history. So that project we did 2 rounds of, one of which was funded by Dean Emert of the Honors College, allowed us to bring back to campus African American alumni from every decade cohort from the Civil Rights era to the present. 2-hour interviews. The students learned how to conduct long-form interviews, how to do thorough research, how to place people's lives in the context of the larger history. And that project led to the second project, which we just completed this past spring semester, and that was on the Honors College oral history. Since last year was the Honors College's 60th anniversary, and there is no written history of the Honors College, and many of the participants in the birth of that college were still around, and that history was in their memory banks. So John, once again, generously funded a project that allowed that to happen, and he has been a guardian angel of immersive learning and interdisciplinary research on this campus. I will dearly miss working with him on a regular basis now that I've moved into emeritus status. But would you please join me and give me a very warm round of applause to Dean Emert and let him take it from here.
Thank you, Michael. And the pleasure is mine, because it's only because of the resources that friends and donors and alumni of the Honors College and of Ball State have given to me, to my charge, that we're able to do the stuff that we are doing. Maureen stepped out for a second, but I'm going to recognize her too. It's also the collaboration that I have, the very good friendship that I have with Maureen McCarthy, who is Dean of the College of Sciences and Humanities, and your chair, Abel, and all the other players who are here at the tables today, that you are able to allow me to empower our Honors College students. I want to start by saying thank you to Mary. It's great to have your vision come to life today, and with the assistance of Michael to pull this off. Mary took a risk 50 years ago. She wasn't the only one. The Honors College at Ball State is one of the oldest in the country. We started as a dream to provide to the residents of Indiana an opportunity that was comparable to that of a liberal arts school. And as you well know, Indiana has a fine collection of liberal arts schools. You can hardly throw a rock without hitting one in this state, it seems like. But those aren't always accessible. And so the theme of accessibility, the theme of diversity, has been paramount to the Honors College from its inception. The Honors College at Ball State is one of the few places in academia where you will find freshmen through seniors, students of all majors, coming together for meaningful conversations. You'll find that some places where it's only freshmen, that would be the freshman seminars in those liberal arts schools. You'll certainly find those meaningful conversations in those upper division history courses, in those upper division biology courses. And it's an important thing for those majors to come together as upperclassmen and have meaningful conversations. But it's always been a challenge for a school of our size to have that resource of bringing together diverse perspectives, diverse experiences, diverse values, all together for meaningful conversations. And Mary, and I suspect a few others around the tables here, were part of those conversations 50 years ago when the Honors College was first finding its way. It's still one of those unique places. And as I was reflecting on my comments for today, I reflected upon the class that I'm teaching this term. I'm teaching a seminar. And I have majors from 5 different other academic colleges, including one of my own because I have a medallion scholar who is a major in the Honors College. So I have 6 of the 8 colleges represented. I have people who see the whole spectrum in every issue you can possibly imagine and more. I know because I've been successful in providing that opportunity where they can have a conversation, where they can have mutual respect of each other, where they can disagree without being disagreeable. And friends, we need places like that. We need places where those who are climate skeptics can chat in a meaningful way with those at the other end. We need places where those who see the question of abortion and women's rights and family rights all across the spectrum to be in the same place and have meaningful conversation. We need a place where facts can drive the conversation. And I dare say, because of your support, and because of your vision, and because of the support and vision of other friends and colleagues, we have that space here. Let me tell you about a few things that have happened in recent years, because I think this is good news. I want to look toward the future. A few years ago, actually was a history faculty member, offered a colloquium on philanthropy. And I am determined to repeat this course, though not this coming year, because this group of 15 students had $10,000 of real money, and their goal was to figure out how to regift it. Help me out. The name just escaped me. Greg Wachowski, who actually left us the following year to head up the graduate program at the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy in Indianapolis. All right, so we were just one piece of the puzzle. I went to that class's final exam, and it was wonderful because this was a class that had developed a call. They reviewed the applications. They decided where that money could best make an impact, and then they did it. They put feet on their ideas. Faith without works is dead, and these students worked. Here are a couple other recent examples. Last spring, Adam Cuban, who is my inaugural Ball Brothers Foundation Honors Faculty Fellow. That is a mouthful. It's an opportunity for me to bring in some great, talented faculty who otherwise wouldn't be able to teach in the Honors College to come in for 2 years on a half-time basis. Adam is one of those folk. He taught a course on water issues in Indiana and Costa Rica, and then, come May, he took the class to Costa Rica. They partnered with a local agency and developed a short documentary that's already playing. They went for the facts. They went for impact. Another class taught by one of my own core faculty, Obed Frausto, looked at issues of indigenous parts of Mexico, and that class took a risk. They didn't go to the tourist places. They went to the places where you have to have a guide to get in and out. And because they were prepared, they were ready to fully experience what was being offered. Let me end with 3 particular students, because I like to drive it down to the student. And these are 3 students that I know are already changing the future. The first is Tanner Barton. Tanner graduated, got his undergraduate degree a couple years ago. I think he's finishing up his graduate program here on this campus right now. Tanner was also a member of the dive team. Tanner had a passion for juvenile diabetes advocacy. It was personal to him. He was also a great science major. And so he was making a difference in the labs. And people noticed because he was going to meetings talking about it. And right now, he's an international spokesperson for research in juvenile diabetes. He was doing that before he even graduated his undergraduate. That's Tanner. Tanner is from Dublin, Ohio, just around the corner. Number 2 I want to tell you about is Lydia Katalski, who is from Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. I don't believe you get lost in Floyd's Knobs, Indiana, all right? Lydia is actually another one of my majors within the Honors College, which means she's actually building her own major as part of some other stuff too. As opportunity was, Lydia discovered a not-for-profit in the Louisville area that was making a difference in the community. And without going into great details, it was a not-for-profit that was an agent of change that needed to happen in Muncie. Lydia came back. She shared her idea with her friends, which I believe at least one is in the room today. Lydia shared her idea with my colleague, Jason Powell, who's another one of my core faculty members in the Honors College. And the end result is the following. Jason was successful in in getting a Virginia Ball seminar proposed, ran it last spring. At the end of the day, there is a new not-for-profit that was developed from the ground up by the students. They have a very aggressive board of directors. They just hired their executive director for the program, and they are on track. They're already making a difference, and they're on track to make a difference in the community, in the greater community. I'm feeling good about the future. Let me tell you about my last example, and that's Dorian Sheets from Avon. Dorian also saw a need, but Dorian saw a need in a more personal way, because she looked around the Honors College and she saw there was a desire to go and make a difference. And we have some opportunities around this town to go and volunteer on a one-off basis or to do it on a more consistent basis. But Dorian realized that there was a need for more. Dorian is the first president of a new organization this fall. It's the Honors Association Community Engagement. I think I got it right. The acronym is HASTE. That much I remember for sure. I'm close. All right, very good. And what HASTE is the vehicle, because that's what Dorian noticed was missing, was a vehicle to empower others to make change. And for Dorian, for Lydia, for Tanner, I know the future is safe because they're not my only three. And so that's my good news for you today. Thank you for taking a risk. Thank you for continuing to take a risk. And thank you for helping empower me to be able to empower our future leaders. With that, I wish you a good afternoon.